What's the frame on this? Just so about movement.
Action then.
Speed.
Frame? Frame?
Action. It's framed.
No, but how big is it? So if I move,
Ah,
so that's what I mean.
Well, you
Like
want
that?
to see?
I just want to so I've got an idea of frame. That's all, dear. That's fine. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but remember, it's a 185 cinema screen. So basically, cuts off this and this. So what you're seeing here.
So you might get. So I can go that way, but don't go that way. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So basically, can you see the lines up above?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 185 cinema.
Fine.
So
Okay.
don't go up, right and left.
Fine.
Forward
Switch
is
it back
okay.
again. Cool.
Forward. Yeah, forward is good. I can go forward a tiny
Okay.
bit.
Cool. Do you want to turn it back? Because I definitely don't want to see myself do this. I'll be making myself ill. Probably it's distracting myself, isn't it?
Okay, so I'll have to move up a tiny bit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
Roll.
Yeah, action, whatever. So you just look at us and say,
I'll be out of here.
and then you can't do both. You're in or out now.
No, I'll
because
be
we're
out now.
interviewing.
I'm just lifting my
Okay,
my
take it
sweater.
now. Thanks. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I'm just lifting my sweater. So if I find it, hope I haven't lost it. Alright.
Still rolling.
I'll just get it. I'll be back at 6, okay?
No, you should be back at 5:30.
I'll be just upstairs. Then.
5:30. Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thanks so much.
Cool.
It's
Okay.
4:40 now.
Oh, 5:30. So I'm back. Alright.
Okay, roll in.
Hi, this is Marysia, and this is Jewel of the Balkans, take 11.
So, thank you, Marysia, for turning up here, and thank you for the for appearing in the film. How did you hear about the role?
To be honest, I can't even remember. It seems so long ago when we did the audition. I think it was one of the casting networks, but I can't remember which one it was. But I remember it seemed a long time ago, and then obviously you went away and rewrote scripts and got funding and then came back, I guess. So.
Can you tell us a bit about the role?
Yes, I played Suzanne, who was the president of the NGO Stop Human Trafficking. So my character was pivotal really in giving Radu some of the equipment and getting him through the door really from that perspective. And then he disappeared down the rabbit hole of hell, and then he popped out at moments. And then I was very pleased at the end. So.
And can you tell us, is it okay? What were your expectations of the role?
I hadn't played a president of an NGO before. I tend to play either yummy mummies or kind of crazy strong women. So it was quite interesting to play this kind of very serious and very focused woman who was obviously very passionate about something which is just so horrendous, really. That was great. I mean, at the same time, I've been playing a war journalist, a journalist and a.
How's that again?
See, I hit them.
What?
I hit the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That question again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can you tell us kindly what your expectations were of the role of Suzanne, the president of the NGO Human Trafficking
What?
Human Trafficking
Sure.
Organization?
I hadn't played a president of an NGO before. Of course, her main thing is passion to right a wrong and really try and stop this thing happening and keeping happening. But of course, it's a very political role as well.
Can you say NGO/charity?
Yes.
Because I'm not sure whether it's an NGO or whether it's a charity. I think it's a charity.
NGO/charity.
Well,
Or do you want me to
it's
say
one or the other,
charity?
Charity.
Okay, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
That's-
Do you want me to start again?
yes,
Okay.
please. What are your expectations of the role?
Well, it's the first time I've played a president of a charity like that. And of course, what's really interesting is the passion, is this need to fight, this need to do something about a really horrendous situation. And I guess feeling that her role's better kind of above ground, trying to give press and promotion to, and really put a torchlight on what happens, as opposed to getting her hands dirty and going undercover herself. Because in the past, I've played more undercover roles. So this was really interesting from that perspective.
Can you tell us about the role?
I think she was very.
From the beginning, like I think Suzanne. Yeah.
Suzanne was very instrumental in. She knew Radu and his father, so she knew who he was. And I think she was the one who. He'd obviously got himself in an early situation, and then it was a case of, okay, I'll give you some money, I'll give you some equipment, I'll put you in touch with some people. He ultimately wanted to get a job as well and obviously break a huge story. But she was very instrumental in that kind of moving forward.
A couple of things. She was instrumental in helping Radu, the lead character, infiltrate the gang of sex traffickers.
Okay.
You mention all these little
Okay, fine.
characters, and also that he was, then she was da da da. She helped him to try to extend. Yes, the sentences with description of what's going on in the film, etc.
Okay, fine, sure. Okay, sure, no worries. Okay.
Things like that. Okay. So can you tell us a bit about the role of Suzanne in the film?
Yes. She played the president of the charity, which basically really helped Radu infiltrate the gang of sex traffickers by giving equipment, I guess some guidance, money, and also some advice in the shape of Henry to really try and break into the gang and try and get some footage we could use as evidence. Because, of course, with these things, we know it happens, but the police can't really prosecute until they have full evidence. So she was very instrumental in that kind of helping break the case. And of course, Radu went through a horrendous situation, seeing some horrible stuff. I remember in particular there was one scene where Radu had got me some auction footage of them auctioning women. And just to see that was just so horrendous. But of course, that was very much part of her remit to try and support him to kind of break it and then obviously try and save some people's lives anyway. So.
And what's your knowledge of the issues of human trafficking?
Well, funnily enough, thank God not too close to home. A couple of years ago, I was actually in a commercial playing a Polish mother. My father's Polish. For a Stop Human Traffic charity themselves. It's on YouTube, I guess, somewhere. And I remember that, kind of having to do some research into that then as well. And also this horrendous experience of playing a family and not really understanding what was happening to your children when you let them go. I mean, it's just such a... It's horrendous that it still goes on. It's slavery in many ways, of course, as well. This abuse of people get very damaged and hurt and broken, and I can imagine it's incredibly difficult to come back from that kind of experience. So the more we all, every day, try and move forward and try and help that, I think hopefully we'll have a time at some point where we won't have this. I know prostitution is supposed to be the world's largest and oldest industry, isn't it, really? I don't know if largest, but definitely oldest industry. But it's a very different thing from when these people get trapped into these situations they can't get out, and the gangs and the drugs. So.
And what was it like working with the first-time feature film director?
Oh yes, there is a wonderful thing about working on film. I've done a lot of film this year, but I've done a lot of theatre. I'm currently in a play in the middle of filming, as you know. So I've been rushing to do your scenes, then rushing off to go and get on stage. So it's always interesting because every director, film or stage, has a completely different take, and that's part of the joy of being an actor, because you're trying to see if you can give them what they need. And of course, there's different ways of... Everyone has different ways of communicating, and some people want to do one take in your dance, some people want it all improvised, some like you'll have 17 takes, and which is fine. And I've had directors with more, because I understand it's about trying to cover the roles, but I guess for you as first time, you've probably learnt loads. And I always learn every film I do, you learn something. But there seemed to be, certainly in the scenes I was involved in, there was lots of small little scenes as opposed to having major crowd scenes, which of course I wasn't involved for those, where you had to do the bars and the club stuff. So I can imagine there's a lot of challenges, but you seem to be calm and getting on with it, and you fed us very well, which was very much appreciated. So as long as you feed us, we're much happier.
Sure. Good. Tell us a bit about the story.
The story is a young man going undercover into a world he really doesn't want to see, and trying to get evidence against sex traffickers, and really charting what happened to Irina and, you know, other people's their life through this terrible thing, and their expectations being destroyed, as I'm sure is what often happens. People move to countries to find a better life or to progress, and it is a story of those people going through that, and I guess I'm a supporting character trying to help shine a light on that. So,
Can you tell us any best and worst moments during the film?
oh, I had a lovely line change. I had the schedule, and I was told you're shooting scenes 9, 10, 11 and 13, fine. So I turned up prepared. And then, of course, you wanted to shoot, which I understood, the other half of a telephone conversation, which was scene 12. So I quickly learnt the one half of the telephone conversation, which we hadn't expected to do, which is fine, that's my job. But then we had a line change because it was unclear why someone was calling me. And of course, so I know you rang up your co-writer and said, what's she going to say? And the line that came back to me down the telephone was, oh, it's you, I can distinguish that gallant tone. And we were all a bit like, okay, this is not modern English. It's a very modern, gritty piece of work that you've produced. I'm like, distinguishing gallant tone. But you know what? I'm an actress. I get to say the words I'm given. So I had to dig deep to find some truth, because acting is always truth. Acting is someone's truth, speaking someone else's words, whether it's, it's a character's, whether Shakespeare's given it you or Mike Lee's. Almost the point we have to do is deliver with truth. And so you have to find it, even though at moments it can be really difficult. And this wasn't difficult from an emotional perspective, as more as okay, I've also just learnt this scene, and I've got to come out with, I think there were moments, you've probably got some outtakes, where I think one time I said, I can recognise that distinguished gallant tone. That came out at one point. But I remember on the last day of shoot, you'd said to me that your co-writer was pretty pleased with the way I delivered gallant tone. And but after we did that day of gallant tone, I then went to the theatre. I was in the middle of rehearsing for the show that I'm now in. And I said, I had a line change and this was it. So when everyone's partners rang up, they're like, oh, I can recognise your gallant tone. So it became a bit of a buzzword in our play as well. So
can you give us the example of how you said it on the set?
Oh, God knows. Oh, it's you. I don't know if my voice was that low. Maybe it was. Let's think about this. I probably need a phone. Let's mock it. Here we are. Hi. Oh, no, it wasn't that bad. Oh, it's you. I can distinguish that gallant tone. Actually, I think I was better. I need lights and sound. But, yeah, it was kind of fun. I remember that one. I'm going to have it on my gravestone, that one.
And yeah, you can go through it as long as...
Yeah, I just need to go.
Will you be in there for 2 minutes, or are you
I'll literally
coming
be in now.
Okay.
Just grab
Pause it for a second.
Sorry.
I'll ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got to be quick by it.
Still got to wait for him. If it doesn't come now, he'll come later. Right. 2 cents. What is your hope for the film?
Well, it'd be nice to get it. I think what will be really important is to get it finished, because I understand that is a really big... I wouldn't want to be a director myself, definitely not. I know you've got a huge amount of editing to do and to craft a story in your way, which of course is the difference with film, isn't it, in theatre. In a theatre piece, you get given the writer gives the words, and then it's really the actors who takes the story, but film is very much in the hands of the director and the editor, and they can really change everything around. So hopefully you guys will get it polished and looking good, and the sound being brilliant, and let's see, hopefully get into some festivals. That'd be nice. It'd be very nice to go to a screening of it, so I'm looking forward to that. Although I think there's going to be some bits that are kind of scary that I might not want to see, because I saw that auction bit, I was like, no! So I'm sure I bet it's a bit gory, and I'm a little bit of a child sometimes.
Any final comments?
No, I think well done for getting here. I think I understand how hard it is to to make film, to get the crew and the cast, to get the funding. I completely understand it's such a challenge, and I do huge amounts of. I've done a lot of indie and a lot of shorts and everything, and every time it's always such a battle. So just really well done for getting here. You know, that in itself is so. Let the journey continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Marysia playing Suzanne.
Sorted.